A passionate engineer, a keen technocrat, an industry veteran with close to 4 decades of experience, the former director of ICAT, Mr. Dinesh Tyagi is starting a new entrepreneurial journey as the MD and CEO of Hexall Motors. Mr. Tyagi, welcome to Mobility Outlook. It's a pleasure speaking to you today.
Thank you.
Building a startup after superannuation must be a fascinating idea. What's the thought behind Hexall Motors and what are your objectives?
Well, superannuated from the regular job, all right, because that's something which everybody has to go through, whosoever is in a kind of a service, right?
Right.
But never ever have I had any intention to really retire from work.
Sure.
So, right from college time, I always had this flair to have my own business enterprise.
Right.
So, as a very young guy, when I just graduated, I had dreams of having my own business.
Okay.
But as the luck would have it, I would have tried small stints somewhere, but then I was destined to do a full, 39 years of a job,
Right.
and which I completed. And now this was an opportunity for me to start looking at doing something of my own, an
Right.
enterprise. And automobiles is, primarily the strength that I carried. So this was a natural choice,
Right.
And I always dream big, think big. So I thought of doing vehicles rather than trying to do small component or system or something.
Right.
Because I acquired this knowledge about full vehicles. So that was the natural choice, and this is how the thought of Hexall came up, and we started this journey now.
In this era of mushrooming startups, Mr. Tyagi, how would you differentiate Hexall Motors?
Well, if you look at other startups that are happening in the EV domain, in the vehicle manufacturing domain, so many of them are new players, and quite a few of them don't have the requisite background of manufacturing, designing vehicles.
Sure.
Of course, the established companies do have this kind of a strength, but the team that has come together with me carries a very vast experience
Sure.
for all kinds of functions and the capabilities and skills that are required to put together a vehicle.
Right.
So right from concept to designing CAE, to prototyping, testing, validation, certification, and of course, marketing and sales is another arena. So for which, again, we have people and we will be hiring more people.
Right.
So the strength is to actually have hands-on work experience in all these domains, which is so necessary. So that's one strength compared to many other startups who lack this knowledge. Now, the products that we are doing today, the development of products, right from engineering to prototyping and whatever phase that we are into, is being done by us. Right. Everything is happening in our workshop under our guidance. So every day we are doing very many new things. So far I have generated 7 patents in the process.
Okay.
And more will be coming, I'm sure, because as we evolve, wherever we get stuck, we try to look for a solution.
Right.
And that gives birth to a patent, New invention happens, new technology develops. So all this is happening.
Okay. So talking of products, Mr. Tyagi, you are looking at the commercial vehicle segment. So what is the kind of opportunity you see for this particular segment, particularly as far as electric vehicles are concerned?
See, the segment that we have consciously chosen is this commercial vehicle segment, particularly three-wheelers, cargo, plus we are trying to also do passenger. We see a scope there, even though not much penetration has happened in that, but in cargo we already see a penetration of over 50%.
Okay.
And the other segment that we are targeting is, again, it's far away. This is the electric bus segment. So that's again a segment in which a huge penetration has happened. So the whole idea of getting into commercial segment was that already there is a big momentum which is happening. There's a market which has been created and further it's booming. So it's the segment to be in. Plus, other thing is that the products that we are creating, we are trying to do something differently.
Okay.
So the products that we are doing will be different from what others are doing. So I can't disclose many more details at this stage, but we will create niche.
Sure.
market for our products. So if there's a certain market for three-wheelers here, so we are trying to create a niche above them. And for the buses, if the segment is here, we are trying to create a niche below that.
Okay.
So we are trying to go in between with some very unique offerings for the prospective customers.
Sure, the commercial vehicle segment, Mr. Tyagi, has a lot of white spaces. But when you're talking of niches, creating niches, for our understanding, could you tell us the kind of opportunity you see in market segments? For instance, e-commerce, fleet, intercity, intracity. How are you really looking at this?
See, if you talk of three-wheelers, let's say cargo. Well, the niche that we are talking about in the three-wheeler segment, if you typically look at one three-wheeler, you find that the driver's cabin is very cramped. It's very claustrophobic, so to say. And I don't know whether you have tried to sit inside. You feel as if everything from the sides, from top is coming onto you.
Right.
So at least I didn't like that feeling. So what we have tried to do here is to provide a very spacious, very comfortable and roomy cabin
Okay.
for the driver. So you don't get a feel of a typical three-wheeler.
Okay.
Also, the all-round visibility is beautiful. So you are very well connected to the environment, to the outside world in this case. Other niche that you will find in our products would be that the vehicle dynamics, the stability of the vehicle. In three-wheelers, as you know, there's a problem of vehicle stability and the vehicle dynamics. So that we have tried to overcome through a patented design of mine,
Okay.
which I'm not disclosing at this moment, but
Sure.
our vehicles will be very, very stable. Besides their ability and capability to carry large volume as well as large weight. So depending on the requirement of the customer, we are in a position to provide the capability to either carry huge volumes or huge mass or both. And the overall looks and styling is very different.
Okay.
So it doesn't look like any other three-wheeler. So globally, I would say, not only just India. It's a very unique styling. So which will be the DNA of Hexall Motors.
All right. Okay. And that design language, would you say that would spread across your entire product range?
Yes. So when I said DNA, what I meant was our vehicles will carry a typical style.
Okay.
So from a distance, if you look at a vehicle coming, and if it is Hexalls, you can make out, yes, this is Hexall coming.
Wonderful.
So we're trying to give such a design footprint to our vehicles,
Right.
which are, of course, driven technically. It's not just a style.
Sure.
So there's a technical reason behind that styling, and it's a unique style.
Okay. Okay. While you have done most of the things in-house, Mr. Tyagi, what would be the localization, if you can give us an understanding of across your product range?
See, the localization content on our three-wheelers will be in excess of 90%. And on the bus that we are doing will be in excess of 95%, I would say.
Okay.
But going forward, we want all our products to be 100% local. That's the target. So very soon, hopefully, by the time we get into mass manufacturing, we should increase this further.
Okay. What are those critical products that are still that you're still getting from outside?
Well, typically, this is some electronics
Okay.
and some part of the motor. Other than that, everything else is locally sourced
All right.
or done by us. We are doing lots of value addition by ourselves.
Okay. Okay. We understand you're looking at showcasing these products at the Auto Expo in January 2023. So talk to us about that, the objective that you have in mind, plus what is going to be your go-to-market approach for these products?
Well, the whole idea of going to auto show was driven by the thought that if we somehow could put all these vehicles together in such a short span of time of just 6 to 7 months, and trying to design and engineer and prototype and bring it to a level of showcasing, it was a tough challenge. We always knew, but then the team at Hexall felt that if we could take up this challenge, then we see a huge opportunity to announce our arrival and quick to market. So when you do a thing of this kind, then the mobility world knows, yes, there's a player called Hexall who's coming up with a certain range of products. So people in the entire ecosystem get associated with you, which is very necessary. Otherwise, if you work in isolation, nobody knows you. To get any kind of a support becomes difficult. And people don't believe you actually. So there are so many mushrooming startups, as you said. So unless people believe, yes, there's a serious player who has a very serious intention of doing this business and coming out in the market soon. So once you have a prototype, then there's hope, right? You can see what they have done, what's the quality, what kind of a product.
Yeah.
Then people have more faith in you, more trust in you, and people get associated. So we definitely do need many kinds of associations from the suppliers, from even some employees, prospective team that we need to build, and of course from customers, besides the entire ecosystem. So we wanted to get associated strongly, and this was the method our team thought to, showcase, announce, yes, we are there, we can do this, so people can come and associate, and then we can be successful in the process.
Okay. So beyond the Auto Expo, you showcase your products, of course. By when can the industry expect Hexall Motors to launch its products?
So we are expecting a keen interest by our prospective customers, even before and during the auto show. And we hope to get a good amount of orders for our products. And subsequently, we need to go through the process of certification, which we have deliberately not done as of now, because based on the feedback from the customers and all, we may like to change some things in our designs, which may call upon change in certification. So we wish to start our certification process soon after the Auto Expo.
All right.
And that takes about 2 to 3 months time in our best guess. And small volume production we can do from our existing facility. But to cater to the larger requirements, we'll have to move to another place, set up a factory. So we are in discussion with some of the banks and all who fund us. So that's there, that plan is there. So in my best guess, we can come to market in the third quarter of 2023.
So when you say third quarter, you're talking about the calendar year 23.
Calendar year third quarter.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my best guess.
All right.
It's all dependent on the feedback and the acceptance from our customers.
Right.
On the order book that we hopefully we receive.
Right. So 2 questions from this particular answer, Mr. Tyagi. One is the volumes, the expected opportunity that you're, the segment that you're catering to. What would that, what's the kind of manufacturing sort of, footprint that you would need in the future? And secondly, you also talked about funding. So that will be my next question. If you can talk about the manufacturing, how are you going to sort of approach that?
See, on a small scale, the kind of design that we have done, the process that that particular design needs to manufacture. So all that has been kept in mind with the thought that, the cost of the establishment should be reasonable. As you know, if you have to really set up a very elaborate automotive manufacturing facility, needs hundreds of crores of rupees, right? But the design concept that we have carried now will call for lesser investment in our best guess. But yes, it does need a good amount of investment. So we will have to have a weld shop. We'll have to have a paint shop. Of course, assembly line. So assembly line can start initially without conveyor. Later, as the volumes will grow, we can go to a conveyorized system. And in the end, we will follow, what a typical auto industry will follow. But initially, we have to get rolling and yet be able to provide products at a good quality level, good reliability level. So we will need a good testing validation facilities, which will be in-house, and that's our strength.
I mean, of course, all of this will require a lot of investments to come in the future. How have you started? What's your funding pattern as of now? And what's the kind of requirement that you have for the future?
So we are a bootstrapped company. So all the promoters of the company have, till date, they have put in money from their side. So there's a certain plan to keep working in this manner. And when we reach up to a level of that equity that we have to infuse, so we are infusing equity consistently, month on month, we'll reach up to the planned level,
Okay.
and that will be the time to look for the bank loans.
Okay.
So which have been tied up, so banks are willing to fund us.
All right.
And then we start with loans, and hopefully up to the auto show we will be self-sustained.
Okay.
And beyond that, when we think of putting up a factory and expanding our manufacturing operation, that will be the time when we need funding. Initially we will go with banks.
Okay.
And then later, if there's any good opportunity to disinvest, we are not in a hurry to disinvest.
Sure.
So we wish to disinvest at a right time, right level. So in order to build a big mega factory like others are doing,
Right.
we will need definitely investors coming in.
Sure.
But before that, we have to show to them that yes, it's a capable team. We can do products, we can do innovative products, we can do products which will win in the market. So on that confidence, we hope there will be investors who will get interested in Hexall.
I'm sure. Mr. Tyagi, a generic question on the challenges that the EV sector faces currently. I mean, not just in the segments that you are going to play in, but overall, if you could comment on that, please.
Well, the challenges which the EV sector currently is facing is the cost of the ownership. The acquisition cost is high, and that's primarily driven by the battery. So the battery technology needs to evolve towards a lower cost. Besides, if we are talking the battery technology today, there are concerns on safety. So all these cases of fire, even though those are limited mainly to some two-wheeler and a different chemistry of vehicles, the chemistry which we are going to use is very robust.
Okay.
The LFP chemistry is fundamentally robust. So there are not instances of fire in this. So other thing is safety in customers' mind. Third, of course, as you are very well aware, is the range anxiety,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So charging infrastructure is another one. So people keep talking from where the electricity will come. So all these are the concerns that need to be addressed
Right.
for a good success of EV mobility.
Right. From a cost perspective, since you've talked about cost, what can we expect from Hexall Motors? How do you really reach that optimum cost level for the products that you plan to bring to the market?
See, the whole concept of the cost of the vehicle starts from the design stage, from the concept. So if you keep in mind the cost of the end target, so whatever you do in the process to reach up to that has to be all optimized, keeping in view that big target. So the concept, the design that you do. So you can make a design in a number of ways.
Sure.
Right. So a design can be made in a simpler way or a complicated way. So it all depends on the clarity in your mind. So if you understand the function of a particular component system, then you have to make a design to suit that requirement.
Sure.
I mean, at a vehicle level, that's the first, right? So when you design a vehicle, you keep in mind what's the cargo volume, what's the weight carrying capacity. Okay, so that's the most important aspect of a vehicle. The vehicle has to deliver. In order to do that, you have to do everything else around it. Important thing is that platform, and that box for the cargo. And the driver is important, so you have to take care. So driver fatigue, ergonomics, comfort, roominess, visibility, and of course there is a CMVR, whole set of rules that you have to fulfill.
Right.
But you have to keep the fundamentals in mind. Cost is another big objective, right? So in order to fulfill my fundamentals of giving so much of cargo space, so much of weight carrying capacity, besides keeping in view the regulatory framework, the market trends, what's the best design? So at each stage, you are taking care of cost.
Okay.
So this is how we have evolved the designs and the bill of material. So everything is in our control.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the strength is we design by ourselves. So we can do many design iterations, changes. So many times it's done. Within a day, we finish the iteration, right?
Okay.
We are not going outside anyway.
Okay. Okay. Final question, Mr. Tyagi. Long-term goals for Hexall and plans thereof.
Well, it's a little secret. I don't wish to divulge that at this stage, but we have big dream for Hexall. Something very big.
Okay.
As you know, in ICAT also, I had a big dream for ICAT. So here I carry a much, much bigger dream than that also.
Okay.
So keeping fingers crossed, we should not be talking big. Only time will tell.
Wonderful. On that note, Mr. Tyagi, I wish you all the best and truly appreciate you talking to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks.